Melanie Richardson. I'm the Deputy Operating Officer in the Watersheds Division for the Santa Clara Valley Water District. And I am here to help formally signal the beginning of construction of this section of the river. We're actually slated to begin construction next month. Yeah, it's been a long road. And this Upper Guadalupe River project that we're undertaking is about 6 miles long, and it's broken up into sections for ease of design and construction. The section that we're going to begin construction on is referred to as Reach 12, and this goes from Branham Road to Blossom Hill Road. Before I get started though, I wanted to just briefly recognize some of the officials that have joined us. I'm very honored that these officials have come to attend today. Of course, we have our own director, Linda J. Lazat, who will be speaking later. We are also joined by San Jose City Councilman Johnny Camus, who represents District 10, and Andrea Hyde from San Jose Councilperson Don Rocha's office, who represents District 9. And then also Michael Branson of Zoe Lofgren's office. And Zoe has been very instrumental in helping us on the federal side get the funding for this project. So thank you all for being here. Very much appreciated. So first up, I'd like to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Bo Goldie, who has been with the CEO of the Water District since 2009, but he's actually been at the district since 1984. And I know personally, since I've been there almost as long, that Bo has worked in all parts of the organization, flood protection as well as water supply and environmental stewardship. And Bo is very interested and supportive of this project, and I believe knows how important this is to all of us. Bo?
Thank you, Melanie. Yeah, we don't talk about it. I started in '84 too often. But this is one of the projects that I was involved with, as many people are involved in this particular project. It's really a pleasure to be here today and actually to witness and be part of the groundbreaking ceremony that we have. The Water District has a unique condition or a mission. We actually manage the water resources, which includes providing flood protection for those times when we get ample water or too much water. And we also are here to provide water supply, and you can see behind you we're currently in a drought, and there are perk ponds that are dry because we are in a drought condition, a very severe drought condition that we're trying to manage. And thirdly, as part of our mission, we're actually working at stream stewardship to really create healthy habitat and ecosystems for the wildlife that helps to improve the wildlife and the conditions and the environment that our community lives within. But before I go too far here in my remarks, I wanted to really acknowledge our partners on this project. The Army Corps of Engineers. They have been with us for the entire program as we've been moving forward with this. We have worked with a number of colonels, Colonel Baker, Colonel DeCiro, and Lawrence Farrell. And it is really our pleasure, and it has been a real pleasure to work with Lieutenant Colonel Morrow here in the last few years. He actually is here to see the groundbreaking and help to pull this project to fruition that we are seeing here today. But even behind those people that I recognize, and the managers and people like me that are here doing all the talking, there is a whole group of employees and staff, both on the Corps side and on the district side, that really did the hard work. Eris Raxton of the Army Corps of Engineers has been also in this project for many years, probably as many years if not more than I. And Knock Nguyen, who is the project manager, who has really helped to drive this and actually get to this point groundbreaking. So I wanted to make sure that we recognize them because they are the ones that actually do all the work. So during this period of extreme drought, people wonder, what are we doing flood protection? Well, flood protection is necessary because at some point the drought will be over. And in this condition that we are seeing ourselves of climate change and the impacts from climate change, we anticipate more intense storms over shorter periods of time. Those intense storms are going to create a condition where there is likely to be flooding. We are designing to help protect from it. Also, the way you end a drought is you get a lot of water. You just don't want to get too much water. And that is our current condition. We're all hoping for rain and really counting upon the community to reach our conservation goals of 30%, which is what our board adopted. I do recognize the city of San Jose has actually adopted those measures of 30% and taken a very aggressive approach to this drought. So this particular project is going to provide flood protection to 7,000 parcels. It's going to preserve and improve the existing vegetation conditions. It's going to provide wildlife habitat. It's going to improve the water quality, and it's going to provide for the potential public access to future trails in partnership with the city of San Jose. Now I'd like to bring forward one of the champions of this project. One of the champions is making sure we address climate change. We actually provide the water supply to the community, and we really integrate these multiple objectives into good water resources planning. And that is Linda Lazat, who represents District 4. She became on our board in 2010. Prior to that, she was on the city council, so she's been on both sides trying to make this project happen. And I'd like to recognize her. She was re-elected in 2014. You're supposed to be coming up when I'm doing this delay. And since she goes after me, I have to make sure I have good remarks on it.
Both threatened to say something I didn't like, so I figured I'd sit there and give him a chance to hang himself. But I also told him that I spoke after he did, so he better be careful. Thank you both. It's always a pleasure to come here on any project to talk about successes, and it's really beginning to be a habit of sharing our successes with the Army Corps of Engineers, and to stand before you today on public projects such as this. Our partnership with the Corps goes on for many, many years. In 2012, we completed Reaches 6 and 12B of this very project, and both stabilized and widened the channel to increase flow capacity, as Bo was talking about, that will ultimately keep the community safe in times of heavy rains, which we do hope that we get very soon. These projects would have been more difficult, a lot more difficult, if we had to accomplish them on our own. Relationship is a good example of teamwork, and today's groundbreaking is another milestone we can point to that shows what can be achieved when people and organizations work together. You heard Bo talk about the benefits of the overall project, even in a drought. But we should also point out how the work will be a boon in other ways. For our environment, the Reach 12 work will serve as a mitigation project as we establish native vegetation and trees along this existing channel and create a natural, self-sustaining, meandering, low-flow channel. And it is significant in the area of the local economy. I'm glad that I have both Councilmember Camus and a representative from Don Roach's office, because we are contributing to the economy in almost everything that the Water District does. And even though this is an Army Corps project, we will be providing an opportunity for somewhere between 30 and 60 construction jobs over the course of the year that this work will take place. For these reasons, we must thank the community, because it's the taxpayers who voted for a clean, safe creeks and natural flood protection, a parcel tax in 2000, and to continue to have the funds that we need for this with the passage in 2012 of the Safe Clean Water and Natural Flood Protection Program. The improvements that will be seen are an element of the Upper Guadalupe River Flood Protection Project that is funded by those taxes. They are as much a partner in this celebration as the Army Corps and the Water District. I think that's really an important point that we want to make, is how important it is to the local community, but also to the taxpayers of Santa Clara County. More work remains, and we continue to need support from the Army Corps of Engineers, elected officials, and federal funding. Thank you for being here today to help us mark this milestone, and now I'm going to turn it back to Melanie. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Lazat, for those talking points. We very much appreciate that. And now I'd like to turn our attention to our next speaker, Colonel John Morrow, who is the District Commander and District Engineer of the San Francisco District of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Although Colonel Morrow has been with us for only a year, he has already established himself as a true partner with the Water District in helping to move our projects forward. And I'm very pleased and honored to introduce him.
Melanie, hey, thank you very much. Hey, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's truly my honor and privilege to be here. And it's one of those things, it's hard to believe. I'm almost being on the job. Next month it'll be a year. It's like, my goodness, how time flies. But I always like to tell people I'm a public servant. Yes, I'm a soldier. People are like, well, you're not a public servant, you're a soldier. It's like, but no, being a soldier is the epitome of being a public servant. And I'm very proud of being a public servant. I'm very proud of being a public servant because I'm here to serve you all. I'm here to serve the community. I'm not in a tactical unit now. This is a civil works type district, so the community is who I serve. I take that very seriously, and I'm very proud to do that. One of those things is, and I know each and every one of you has had a direct or indirect impact in some fashion or another on this project. So I'd like to give each and every one of you a round of applause for all of you. And it is true. I mean, and I'll get to that a little bit later on. I've come to appreciate how much effort and time it takes to get a project to fruition as we are today. It takes an incredible amount of intellectual energy and time. A lot of frustrating days, I know. A lot of regulatory actions. That's why Melanie smiled at me. I'm smiling. It is. It's a very tough environment because we are in a heavily urbanized area. I mean, obviously, 85 highways right there, and we have a lot of environmental challenges. Specifically with this project, I mean, all that adds up to a lot of intellectual energy and time that had to be spent before we get to the official day of today, where we can officially put the shovel in the ground for the very first day, for the very first time, and begin construction on this phase of this project. It's truly been a team effort, and I say it's a team effort because it's all the great employees of the San Francisco district, all the great employees of the Santa Clara Valley Water District, Bowen team, Harrison team from the core district. I mean, it's all of the elected officials, state, local, and the national elected officials. All the other municipalities have been supportive of this project, as well as the public, because we had to have ultimate public buy-in for this project to succeed. So I mean, it's one of those things that the project's not going to succeed unless the public truly buys into it and truly supports it. So that's one of those things. I mean, I'm a big team person, and it's just a great team effort. So I know there's some days that we agree to disagree, just like on other projects. Bo's laughing now. it is, but I will tell you, we are all united in a purpose on wanting to make the community better, and I'm part of the community too now. Even though I'm from the Midwest, I'm part of this community. But we are truly united in purpose, all of us here, whether you're elected official, you're a government employee in one fashion or another, or you're part of the public at large. We're united in the purpose of making the community better and safer, especially in this project. I talk about the ultimate buy-in, and we have employees in our district that live in this local area. I mean, they will literally be better protected. They work for us. They work for Harrison and myself. And I know that's the same for employees of the water district, the various municipalities as well. That's the ultimate buy-in. That's what I always like to highlight. It's like, hey, the Corps supports the community. I got it, but we actually are the community, and it really means a lot. Part of this project is, I know it's been a labor of love, probably a labor of frustration, but it's one of those things, because we're in an urban area and with environmental challenges, the complexity, this project will be complex regardless of where it's geographically located. Because of the geographical location in the urbanized area and environmental challenges, the complexity of this project has increased exponentially. And that's why it has taken a long time to get where we're at today. It's been no easy task. Now Harrison's laughing. So I've come to appreciation of how complex these projects are. But it really is. It's taking care of the people of the present, but it's also for the future generations as well. I mean, that's what this project's about. When properly maintained, this will last for decades. It will provide flood protection, risk from inundation, protect risk from inundation for thousands of businesses and homes, and it will undoubtedly save lives. It's hard to quantify that, but I'm telling you, a flood risk management project saves lives. It does. It's hard to show that and prove that, but it does. It saves lives. And I think, to me, that's obviously by and far the most important thing to ever focus on. And that's why it is important that we're here today and we're getting ready to put ceremoniously the shovel in the ground. But it's also important to realize, this project's not cheap. It's costing a lot of money, and it's all federal, state, or local taxpayer dollars. And we always like to highlight that it is important. The tax dollars are being spent wisely and efficiently. But it's also important to highlight, because I like to say, and I've heard this many years ago, is the most successful flood risk management project is the project that once completed, you never hear about it. You never hear about it because it's working as designed. But that's why it's important that when a lot of taxpayer dollars are being spent on a project, that the public is shown, hey, you can't see the effects of it because nothing ever bad happens to it. That's what it's supposed to work that way. And it's not bragging, but we always have to show you spent your taxpayer dollars wisely and efficiently, and as a result, that's why you haven't gotten flooded, or you haven't lost your property, your business hasn't been flooded. God forbid, lives haven't been lost because of a major storm event. And I know Bo mentioned it as well as this drought. It's terrible. It's a terrible drought. We're in our 3rd+ year now of the drought, but it will end. And based on historical precipitation events, Mother Nature usually turns on the spigot a little bit too much at the end of the drought. And that's what we always have to keep in mind is the drought won't be here forever. I mean, we know that. It won't be here forever, and we have to be prepared for a future rain event that's pretty substantial. So again, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly my honor and privilege to be here, and I thank you all for attending. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Colonel Morrow. And now we get to do the fun part. So after years of work, we finally come to the celebration, and I'd like to invite all of the elected officials, Bo, Colonel Morrow, with me over here where the shovels are to do the ceremonial groundbreaking, please.
1, 2.
Okay.
Keep going, there's a lot more to do.
1, 2, 3.
We didn't follow the instructions.
One more time. 1. That's my military word.